Hello again, I'm Javon Johnson, and welcome to another edition of Forgiven. In today's episode, we'll be talking about kindness. For me, being a kind person is extremely hard to do. I think that my very nature is kind, but because of my upbringing and my experiences with people, I have become unkind in certain situations. Like when my children are disobedient, I typically respond in an unkind way. Or when someone cuts me off in traffic. Those are some of my most unchristian moments. Even though I may feel justified in my emotions at the time, it doesn't give me the right to respond unkindly. When things are going well for us, or we're around people that we like or we're trying to impress, then being kind is easy. Kindness is hard when things don't go our way or we're around people that we can't stand. It's easy to be kind when the house is clean and the children are quiet. It's hard to be kind when the dishes are piled up and the children keep running around. It's easy to be kind when we have a great job and we like the people that we work with. It's hard to be kind when your coworkers are lazy and your boss is a jerk. Our current circumstances shouldn't dictate whether or not we are kind to people. And often we blame others for our lack of kindness. Well, if she wasn't so lazy, I wouldn't say those things to her. Or if he would just help me around the house, I wouldn't have to yell at him. Or I wouldn't be this way if you would just be obedient. We can't blame others for our lack of kindness. Being unkind has more to do with our hearts than it does our circumstances. Ephesians 4 verse 31 through 32 says this: "Get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving one another, just as Christ forgave you." It says get rid of, which means that the bitterness and the rage and the anger is something that is accumulated over time through practice. We develop habits of unkindness based on how we respond in those situations. Sometimes we become so accustomed to being unkind that we don't even recognize that we're being mean. My oldest daughter had to flat out tell me, "Dad, sometimes you can just be really mean." That cut me to the heart. You see, I was justifying my unkindness based on the lack of her obedience. My daughter's behavior has no effect on me being kind. Rage and anger were my go-to moves whenever things weren't going the way that I wanted them to go. I had to get rid of them and add something different to my responses. Colossians 3 verse 12 says this: "Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothed with yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience." We have to get into the habit of displaying godly characteristics, especially if some of us are claiming to be God's chosen people. Doing this takes time and a commitment to respond to situations in a different way. Maybe you can take a deep breath before responding to something, or maybe you can pray to God in the beginning of the day to give you the kind words to say in moments of distress. Either way, it is up to us to be kind people, despite what's going on around us. If you struggle with being kind, I challenge you this week to start developing habits of kindness. At the end of this video, I encourage you to post a comment highlighting a situation where you struggle with being kind. And later on in the week, reply to that comment telling us how you did to develop kindness in those situations. Remember, our current situation should not dictate whether or not we are kind. We are kind because God chose to be kind to us. I'm Javon Johnson. God said he forgives you, so live like you've been forgiven.